deserve.
Back here talking the future of Ben Simmons in Philadelphia, because the present ain't great. That after Ben's brutal showing in that second-round series against the Hawks. And, well, let's face it, after now a couple years of failing to take that next step offensively, Fox Bet Sportsbook has the odds on his next team, potentially, or where he'd be next season. Sixers still the favorites, followed by Portland, Washington, then OKC, and San Antonio. So, Nick, Simmons stock low right now. Would it be a smart move for the Sixers to trade him this offseason?
Potentially, but as the world sits today, no. What Philadelphia needs to do, and let me preface this because I think people know that I'm close with Daryl and that I'm also close with some people in Ben Simmons' camp. I haven't talked to any of them about this. So this isn't me reporting anything. This is just my informed opinion on it. I think that Philadelphia is totally fine and would be smart to wait and see who the next disgruntled all-star caliber player is and then play the Ben Simmons card. Now, obviously, Ben is represented by the best and most powerful agency in basketball, so you're not going to be able to send him just anywhere. Okay. They will have a say in that. However, what Wild? Show me the lie.
It's kind of true.
I mean, it's true. It's accurate. I mean, it's just nothing but facts this morning, my friend. So they're going to have a say in that, meaning like if, for instance, if all of a sudden De'Aaron Fox came available, I think that would be a great fit for Philadelphia. I also am not sure that Clutch, and again, I haven't talked to him, would want or allow Ben to be shipped to Sacramento. And so I do think there's going to have to be some needle threading here. But you don't sell an asset at its low point. And I don't mean to be, dehumanizing and talk about this guy as an asset, but you understand what I mean. Ben Simmons made the All-NBA team 1 year ago. He was second in Defensive Player of the Year voting this year. I like C.J. McCollum a lot, but if you end up trading Ben Simmons for C.J. McCollum, when you were this close to trading Ben Simmons for James Harden, you will be getting 60 cents on the dollar for him. That is not Daryl Morey's history nor his MO. And Brandon, I don't think they look at it as the guy can never play another game in a Sixers jersey. So do I think he'll finish his contract with Philadelphia? I don't. But I also don't think they are rushing to make a rash decision when they know this is their best and biggest chess piece to move for this part of the Embiid era.
See, my POV is just slightly different than yours, but we're saying the same thing. If they trade Ben Simmons, then they are rushing. But you're talking about value with your head, your head on, right? You're hitting it right on the head. I'm talking about more so development. A lot of times when our guys get to the pro league, we always think that they're supposed to be exactly what they're supposed to be. What about development? What about having a kid that is only 24, 25, and helping him go to the next level? So we think that when you make it to the NBA, when you make it to the NFL, that, oh, you're right here. This is it for you. You know everything. You're supposed to have all the technique down. And they do a little coaching. No, you need to put your hands on these players and you need to help develop them. Now, one, the player needs to want help, and the player has to have the work ethic, the want to get out there and to ascend to another level. But I'm saying that because in these leagues, it's so twisted, it's so backwards. We get these young guys, they're 22, 23, 24 years of age, and as soon as they have, 1 or 2 bad years, oh, it's time to move on. Or if they don't ascend as fast as you want them to, then it's time to move on. We know the potential that's in Ben Simmons. On the defensive side, probably got some more room to grow, but he's right where he needs to be. On the offensive side, you're not asking him to be Trae Young. You're not asking him to be Luka or a Steph Curry. All you're asking this kid to do is shoot the ball. That's all you need. If you can take a couple threes, you can pull up from mid-range or the elbow, you are now dangerous, and you're now taking us from a contender to a real championship team. So for you to have Sam Cassell on the sideline as assistant coach, that's the guy that you need to pair with him and say, let's get it together this offseason and really develop. And then you go into the season and see how things go. Now, Wiles, here's the deal, right? So with these two scenarios, you got this one thing like, all right, here's Ben Simmons, and this is where he's at today. Here's his value. And on the other end, it's like, if I can get through to him, this is where he can be. It's on them to pick which path they want to go. If I am the 76ers, I am doing everything in my power to help this kid develop, because if he can get there, he's a major asset.
So the biggest mystery of this, Brandon, is does Ben Simmons want to shoot the ball? If the answer is no, then Daryl's probably going to have to say, like, all right, that's not what we need right now. You might be better off with a fresh start where they can build a team around a point guard who doesn't want to shoot. And look, Brett Brown lost his job, and one of the things that he said going into the year is like, I want to see Ben shoot 1 3 a game. And Ben didn't do it. Nick, the major challenge for, like, all levels of basketball is like, hey, that guy's shooting too much. I don't care if you're playing playground basketball or if you're in the NBA. It's like, man, this guy sure does love to shoot. Ben Simmons is doing the opposite. So I think that there's been a narrative out there like, oh, he's played his way out of Philadelphia. Like, they won't stand for that. I think that's nonsense. The whole Philly fan base understood the process. It's the whole mantra of the team. They understood, like, all right, we need to get from here to there. If Philly will embrace honesty about what Ben needs to do for shots, like, hey, guys, you know what? Ben feels uncomfortable, so if he misses a few shots, can we cheer him? You know what the answer would be? Yes. But no one wants to be lied to. They don't want to hear Ben Simmons in the pregame or post-game saying, like, you know what, I should have been more aggressive in the fourth quarter, and then the next game come out and also shoot nothing. So that makes no sense. So you have to be honest with the Philly fans, and they got to want to shoot.
But here's the thing, Wilds. Here's the thing. This is what happens. As a player, you sit there, you're eating your breakfast, you get in there at 8 in the morning, team meeting is at 8:30, so you're sitting in the cafeteria, you have FS1 on, and you're watching Wilds, you're watching Nick, you're watching Jenna talk about, you know, your game or the sport, and you take that in. Now, a lot of players say, look, I don't watch it, I don't read it. But the reality is it's impossible for it not to come on your desk or for you not to consume it. What you should do is be able to take it in and make sure in a healthy way you know how to navigate through what you're hearing, what you're reading. But we saw this with James Harden. James Harden sat there, and James Harden listened years after years, say he dominates the basketball too much. He dribbles the air out of the ball, and he doesn't play any defense. So what did we see happen last year in the bubble? He totally started playing defense. He started dishing the ball a little bit too much. Why? Because he hears it, right? And he knows he needs to work on that. So now we're talking about Ben Simmons, Jenna. Ben Simmons is hearing this, and this might be the moment where he's like, you know what? It's a humbling moment for me, but it's also one of those moments where I got to take my game to a whole nother level because I don't want to get shipped out of here, and I don't want to go to, you know, Sacramento, wherever Nick said they might send him, right? So this is a guy right now in a pivotal moment.
I don't buy it. I'm sorry that I don't buy it. Why? Because we've been having the exact conversation for 4 years. This isn't his first year in the league. I know that first year he was hurt. It's not the first year and he didn't shoot. It's not the second year and he's a little gun-shy of shooting. It's not the he's been doing this. They've tried. Brett Brown tried to work with him. I'm sure there have been tons of guys that have tried to work with him in the offseason. Okay, so he made the adjustment. For whatever reason, Ben Simmons, it doesn't appear to want to make the adjustment, Nick.
So,
like, how many more years are we going to say this is the year he and Joel Embiid are gonna gel? How many years are we going to give that chemistry an opportunity to work?
Well, we might be on the last one, or we might have just had the last one. However, the end of this season was different in this regard. If we go through, the history of the Sixers as actual contenders, 2019, Ben played well in that postseason. Joel played well. They lost in a 7-game battle to a barely better team that went on to win the championship. They left that feeling good. 2020, Ben got hurt. And so you're not saying, oh, it's not going to work. And then in 2021, all year long, the Sixers were the 1 seed, everything. I understand he's not shooting, Jenna, but